Welcome back. Today I'm out in the shop and I'm going to be working on the B&M mirrors that I have for the DF. These mirrors are the bigger version. They're the full version of the old style mirrors, which is this is the mirrors that I had done and made by another person. And like I said, extraordinary work. They were 3D printed fairings, and he cut down the mirrors, but you can see the difference in the size, how much mirror I lose. And as my eyes get older, I need the full mirror. I just like to have the full mirror. These were on the Quest and on my previous Quest. But what happens is velomobiel.nl takes these mirrors and they cut off the ball here. Well, when I got the mirror and I got the full kit, I thought, let me try and modify the system that's on there so I can still use that ball and I can have more articulation in my mirror. I know it's going to put it up a little bit higher off the DF, off of the body of the DF, but I'm okay with that. So like I said, these mirror cones are made for the B&M mirrors, and it's a free file that you can get on Thingiverse and 3D print them. And I'll end up gluing it in there, and now I've got a mirror cone that adds a little bit more aerodynamics than just having a flat surface like this. Does it really make a big difference? I don't know. For me, maybe not, but it looks cool. I'm going to be working on these today in the shop, and then I'm going to be modifying this base. What I'm going to do is, this is the base that is for the handlebars on a bike. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this smooth. I'm going to cut this part off right here, and this part will be on the outside of the velo. And what it is it's the ball mount. So that allows for the articulation of the mirror. I can move it around, and then once I get it set where I need it to be, I can tighten it down. But I also have the ability, in case I'm sitting in a different position or whatever, and I can move the mirror. So that'll give me several points of articulation to move the mirror around when it's on the DF. All right, that's all there is to that part of the modification. I'll let that cool off, and then I will take it out and see what needs to happen with the mounting of it on the DF. And I'm using white as a primer, because then I can fill in any voids, because as you can see right here, it's not perfectly, my printer wasn't perfect when it's set up, and there's a little groove in there, and so I'll have to put in some body filler and whatnot. But I'm just going to put start with a prime first coat and go from there, and then that'll let me know where I need to sand it and touch it up more. This paint will also act as a sealer for some of these lines, because as you can see with 3D printing, there are a lot of lines in there, which is just part of how 3D printing works, and that's okay. You just have to know that that's how it's going to work. And that there's some cleanup to do when you do 3D printing stuff. Now I know there's probably some of you out there saying, man, he needs to really dial in his 3D printer, and that's true. I probably could take more time to dial in the printer and get it to where it will print a lot smoother, but for these particular parts, I'm not overly concerned about it. They don't have to be that perfect. If I were doing some precision 3D printing things, then maybe I would need to worry about it being perfect, but I'm not really overly concerned about it. So what I'll do is I'll let this dry, and then I'll give it its first sanding, and then I'll start getting a little bit of body filler and filling in some of the places where it's kind of rough, and go from there. It's really that easy. Or I may not even worry about it. I may just sand it down and get it smooth that way, and not even worry about body filler or anything like that, and put the paint on it. It's going to go on a Velomobile that hardly anyone's going to see those little tiny details, but I'll work on it and get it pretty smooth, and we'll go from there. Okay, I'm over here in the garage now, where the DF is stored. And I have a bunch of stuff on it. And I have so much stuff in here with 2 DFs, which I need to sell this other one. So if you're interested, let me know. And it looks like those bolts will fit through there just perfectly. So I'm going to take the rubber washer off, set all those parts down. I'm going to put this through here. I'm going to put the rubber washer on. I'm going to take the mount, and man, that fits on there perfectly. So now it's just going to be a matter of determining where I want the ball of the mount to be. And then I'll take these washers that I have, or these nuts that I have sanded off, and start to tighten those down, which is perfect. Yes, sir, that's going to work perfectly. What I did was installed it, and it installed perfectly. It's exactly what I wanted it to be. So now I've got the ball mount. I sanded off those nuts so they fit actually inside. So I sanded those nuts in there. So you can see they're flat on both sides, but that way it uses the mount already that B&M has with the flat sides on it to use that to tighten it up. And it gave this mount, it's really strong and tight now. It's not going to move around. It's not going to swing and swivel. It's a metal mount, and man, it tightened up really nice. So I'm going to take off the other one, going to mount this other mount. So then all I have to do is wait on the mirror cones to be done, and I can glue those on. But I can ride the Velo with the new mirrors like this. I have 3 adjustments. I've got 1, 2, 3 pivot points where I can adjust the mirrors so they're just perfect for me. And then I have the whole use of the round B&M mirror, which is what I really wanted. After trying the smaller ones, just not for me. So for somebody else, for a lot of other people, I've actually used that setup already, and they really like it. But for me, it just didn't work out the way I wanted it to. So I'm gonna go with the old way, and my DF will look a little bit different. So I'm gonna get all these done and put on here, and we'll see how it looks. Yeah, so pretty cool. I'm pleased with how this is turning out. The B&M mirrors will work just fine on there, and the mounts work great. So now all I need to do is get the other mirror cones finished and put on there, but I can actually put the regular B&M mirrors on there right now, and then I can run with it just like it is. For me and my wattage, I'm not even going to worry about it. It's not going to slow me down any at all, but I'll be able to see better. Cool. So let me go get the mirrors and put them on. All right, so there you go. The B&M mirrors are installed on the DF. Yeah, they stick up a little bit higher, and maybe they're not as aerodynamic, but I like them, and they have the full review of the mirror. So I'll be able to adjust those, get the mirror cones on, and they'll look just fine. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, cheers.